And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. It's Gerald Glassford. Didn't think I was going to do a show today, but the NBA just doesn't stop now, does it? It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here with the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcasts. On the Pop Culture Cosmos for this weekend, I think I will pop the prediction show that, of course, we would cover earlier in the week. So if you didn't catch that, or if you want to go ahead and listen to it on the radio as you get to go ahead and on your way to work tomorrow morning, I'll pop the prediction show that we did, Legend and I did earlier this week. Go ahead and check it out today if you didn't already, or go ahead and check it out on Pop Culture Cosmos as well. Also, as well, of course, want to go ahead. I'm plugging this book, guys. Again, I had an interview. It's now available for both audio and video watchers, audio listeners and video watchers. It is available right now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and the YouTube channel here. A Hollywood Ending, The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers by Yaron Weitzman. I highly recommend it. It's a page turner, guys. So go ahead and make sure you get this book right now at Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, or wherever you get your books. I highly, highly recommend it, especially the fact that there's stuff going on always behind the scenes at El Segundo, as we found out today as well. So go ahead. You want to hear some more juicy stuff going on behind the scenes the past few years in El Segundo, right here. A Hollywood Ending, The Dreams and Drama of the LeBron Lakers by Yaron Weitzman. A really good book indeed. Don't forget my good friend, Drip Show, at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. You see Luca right behind me. Look at that detail. Look at that. Look at that canvas art right there. Beautiful. Along with Kobe right there. Luca and Kobe, side by side. Couldn't get any better than that. And on top of everything else, look at this. Look at this detail right here of Kobe and Gigi right there on the pillow right here. If you want it on a pillow of whatever design that you're thinking of, go ahead and check it out today. Or a t-shirt. Joe has a Drip Show t-shirt. Joe has a Drip Show hat. Joe has Drip Show canvas art. Joe has a lot of stuff from Drip Show. Again, if you can think it up in the world of pop culture and sports, go ahead, follow at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter, and go ahead and tell him what you're thinking of. He'll let you know if he can do it. And again, if you have someone else in mind for the holidays, at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter. Big shout out to the Lakerholics crew, Lakerholics.com. I want to go ahead and mention that I will be hosting the Lakerholics show this Saturday at 11 a.m. 3 of the 4 Lakerholics. I think even L. Rob will be there. Michael Heinrich said he's going to be there. Laker Tom said he's going to be there. Jamie Sweet is going to be scaring kids at the time, so I will be hosting the show this Saturday at 11. And don't forget, least of all, of course, tomorrow night's game, the Lakers and the Minnesota Timberwolves. Tomorrow night, go ahead and check it out. Playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break. And then, of course, the world famous post game right here at the Lakers Fast Break podcast. For a little while, JSJ, because the attention has been moved away from Clipperland. And now there's another thing that went on, because early this morning, it was announced by the FBI that they've arrested several individuals in not just one, but 2 different types of gambling schemes, part of which were basically dealt with and were constructed quite heavily by the mafia, organized crime, whatever you may call it. But involved in this were Hall of Fame player, Portland Trailblazers coach, Chauncey Billups, also as well current NBA player who has actually been under fire for similar things as well, Terry Rozier. And it was so funny because these news reporters who had no idea how to say his name. I've heard 10 different pronunciations of his name today. It's Terry Rozier, everyone. It's the way it's been sounding for a long time, and they just couldn't quite grasp it. So Terry Rozier of the Miami Heat, and of course Damon Jones, who is also of interest to Lakers fans, because yes, he's a former player, played in several spots, played with Cleveland and other teams and all that, assistant coach for Cleveland as well. But he was an unpaid assistant for a stretch with the Los Angeles Lakers. And during that time, it is alleged during the FBI indictment and the arrest paperwork and warrant that he gave out information, injury information on certain players, one of which was LeBron James, that bettors could bet on because they would have the advantage. In fact, in one of the more humorous parts of this, he gave out information on a player, the bet to a bettor. The bettor actually lost $100,000 because the information didn't come through exactly as planned and wanted to go ahead and get that money back directly from Damon Jones. So yes, there you have it. Part of, I guess, over 30 individuals indicted and arrested on charges. Again, 2 separate deals, one of which involves poker, as far as poker ring, as well as far as playing poker, and I guess a lot of cheating going on and illegal poker games and whatnot going on. And then also as well, again, giving out illegal information to bettors as well. 2 different but yet related gambling issues. And Joe was very adamant about it this morning as far as him wanting to do a show today. For someone like a show like ours that has been approached by, and actually we did for a brief bit of time years ago, we actually were trying to do ads for a betting service. Nothing came out of it. DraftKings actually approached me within the past few weeks. I kind of ignored them, so I really didn't have much to say to them on that. But the world of sports betting is huge. And when you lay that bed, some people are going to lie in it. We've seen the issues with Michael Porter's brother. We've seen the issues now with Chauncey Billups, Terry Rozier, and Damon Jones. How is this going to affect the league going forward? And here today to discuss that, good man indeed, it is the guy behind SimBlades, SimBladesWithAY.com, and of course, the Joe Soro Experiment, where you can watch the Dodgers in the World Series tomorrow night on playback. It is Joe Soro. Joe, good to have you here. You may go on your own YouTube channel afterwards. We'll have to wait and see. But your thoughts on all this? I'm going to go ahead and read some of the comments here in a bit from our audience, but I know you wanted to go ahead and get something off your chest right now.
I think it's important to understand the human psychology a little bit. I don't think you need to go to school and get a degree to get it. I think if you're a human being, you should allow life's experiences to teach you some things. Number one, understanding the people around you. We live amongst humans, right? I think that's something that most people should get really good at understanding. But what gets lost in that is not paying attention to the human being tendencies. And then there's what I believe is the ultimate scam of all time in human history, which is saying that melatonin, a particular melatonin, is the difference between this person and that person. That's not true. There is culture, don't get me wrong. There is geography that's involved that sets the stage for things. Not saying that isn't true, right? But in the end, human beings are human beings no matter what. And they're going to have jealousies. They're going to have weaknesses and strengths and things like that. When I saw the acceptance of gambling 10 years ago, I initially thought, it's going to be more revenue. I didn't see what was coming in terms of gambling. I assumed that the gambling would be similar to what I'd been used to. Well, you go to Vegas, it's gambling. You have these DraftKings or whatever it is that they call themselves. They're promoting the gambling. And my mind was I guess, ignorant in the fact that it could be much larger, in the sense of you have children now. What I mean by children, I'm meaning 18-year-olds that are on gambling apps and betting by the second on certain games. What does that teach that 18-year-old as things get important in life, college, family, work, career, whatever? I started going, okay, this is looking like it's getting a little bit more advanced than I thought it would. And then you started hearing things, a little bit more involvement with people in the leagues. And then you start hearing stories about college kids and kids in their 20s. Let's just be honest about it. Boys, men, bankrupting their parents. We have it on record. We've talked about this already on the show. We just never really got into detail on it. You have grown 20-year-olds, college, maybe mid-20s, late 20s, that are bankrupting their parents because of this stuff. And the irritation in this is not about a bunch of dummies making bad decisions and people having to deal with it within their own family. It's the virtue signaling that these leagues have that contradict the core of what they do. So you have one of the reasons why I can't stand Roger Goodell is because he's a two-faced bum. And I didn't want to use the word bum. I wanted to use another word, but I'm trying to practice into not using any curse words here as we continue to.
At least during the first 20 minutes or so, because you.
No. I'm gonna condition myself. I'm gonna condition myself to try to make it a habit. It's no different than it was when I used to walk into the house when I was a kid. I would curse like a sailor with my friends at school, and then as soon as I got into what I called the threshold in the front door, I didn't even say the A or S words around my parents. I just had too much respect for them to do that. So
no, I'm just saying it's a thing with YouTube where if you don't curse within the first, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes or so,
okay,
somehow your advertisers.
Well, it also I am also factoring in there may be some. I believe there is good content on here to where I believe there will be a father or a mother that's going to listen to the show in the car, and their kids are going to be in the car. That's something we have to factor in as well. But anyways, Roger Goodell is the same scumbag that will take all this gambling money, all this pharma money, all this male enhancement money, and then put end racism at the end of the end zones. Things like that. Adam Silver, whom you've known I've been a big supporter of, especially at the beginning, has been has slowly deteriorated really since 2020. And I'm going to go really, really deep in this and really, really, really vicious. Not that I haven't done it before. I'm just going to I really have a reason to even more now. Professional athletes, and we have the biggest one of them all on the Lakers. He is in my view, the king of this, which is why we have such a hard time being all in on him. And that is LeBron James. And even though he has nothing to do with what's going on here, even though they're trying to throw things in there, professional athletes are children. They have to be disciplined like children. And when you don't discipline professional athletes like children, they're going to start testing. Because these guys have had their rear ends kissed probably since they were 13. As soon as they started showing any athletic ability outside the norm. A lot of these guys are dunking at 13 and 14. That's the first sign. Then all of a sudden you see their heights grow. And then next thing you know, you start seeing them play. And all these guys have known, really, if you really think about yourself as an adolescent, as a young person, what is your first memory? Your first memories usually, at least for me, is right around 8, 9, 10. And then even then, you don't really remember everything. Then you start to really remember more and more as you get to 11, as you get to 12. But then you really start to remember 13, 14, and then high school. So these guys don't know any better than what they've experienced in that time if they're showing the ability to be what they end up being. So imagine their main memory is being coddled, being told how great they are, how great they're going to be. And there is a financial setup with the adults that are around them. So they're going to cater to them even more so that they can get theirs. So imagine all they've known as they're growing up as children is that they're going to have their rear ends kissed and they're going to have the adults do whatever the hell they want. And they're not going to chastise them, not going to do anything to them, right? Now, fast forward to when they become a quote unquote adult. When you don't rule with an iron fist, the morons will take over the asylum. And when I've had this discussion so many times with those who sort of know me, those who do know me, but can't seem to understand why the temperature is always up. Number one, the temperature is up because I know how people work. Good and bad. Most of the time, they don't work well. People are weak. People don't know what the hell they're doing. People are stupid. And then when you put them in a setting of stress, it's magnified. It exacerbates. I mean, to the point where you don't even know who these people are because they can't handle the pressure. And mind you, the pressure is a joke. What is it? You can't take care of your own personal finances. You can't take care of your relationships. Like, it has nothing even to do with what these guys are dealing with. So imagine what's going on there. So all this comes down to this. Most of the professional athletes are not very smart, not very reliable in the sense of doing things. I don't know. I'm just going to use the word professionally. And then the second they get desperate, the second they start having to feel like they need to do something, and there's no policing, this is the result. So gambling, out of all the leagues to have this happen to, the one league that everyone has been thinking has been rigged for a very long time. It's very hard to rig baseball. I mean, you could get a crooked umpire, but with how things are looked at now, it's very hard. I mean, if you had an umpire calling strikes all over the place outside the box, that guy's going to get reamed. He's going to
have a pitcher that tips off his pitches to the batters.
True. Very true. But they've eliminated a little bit of that too by having the automatic stuff wired in as well. So now that becomes a problem. The ABS is all but going to destroy that issue pretty much all the way through. So once ABS is there, I know it's only a couple of, I guess, challenges, but that'll grow over time. Football, I guess a crooked quarterback could definitely make some problems there. But NBA's, in my view, NBA is probably the most manipulative because it's only five it's five at a time on that particular team versus 11 on one side, 11 on the other side, and then baseball has 9, and then you have to hit or you have to field. There's a lot more workings in there for those, whereas you only have 5 guys. One guy can go ahead and do enough damage on both sides so that they can do whatever it is that he do. But anyways, point is, we saw this coming. And I believe it's going to get worse. And these leagues are going to have to make a decision at some point in that, are they going to continue to support these gambling sites and promote gambling like it's playing bingo. Because gambling, while it's not crack cocaine or crystal meth or heroin, it's just as destructive when it's at its peak. It destroys the person. It destroys the people around him or her around him. I mean, I don't know any women that are gambling holics. I really don't. I've never heard of a female having a gambling issue. I'm sorry, I've never heard one. So he is going to have to be the pronoun.
I have. I'll just say that.
You're in Vegas. You probably have more of a chance of doing it. But honest to God, Jerry, that's the first time what you just said. I have never, 47 years on this planet, I have never heard of a gambling issue from a female. So this is the first time. No joke. I've
seen it. I've seen it. Let's just say I've seen some of the darker points.
So we'll see. We'll see.
Some of the trash that you talk, I have seen it in the years I've been here, and I'll just leave it at that.
It's and gambling. I have been around gambling my entire life. My father played poker, cards with his friends. Used to go to their house, go to Vegas, poker, slots, whatever. My cousins, my uncles. I mean, I'm not really dogging the gambling thing. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm dogging is I don't like the two-faced BS around it. And my father and my uncles and my cousins aren't around a sport that could be easily manipulated. So this card thing that you're talking about, Chauncey Billups and Rozier, right? They were
the tables with that they could actually
right. I know exactly.
They would bring you. Let's say you or me. They would bring in. They would lure us in. They say, hey, great to meet you, Mr. Billups. Oh, that's awesome. I now know a NBA player. Oh, you want me to go with you to this really cool private poker game? Wow. Okay, I'll do that. So I'm what they call the fish. Is what that's the common term even before they let people know about that today. But the common term here, in gambling circles, is a fish, meaning someone that's just so naive, but has a lot of money, a big fish that comes in there, and the whole table in these private games. That's what they're accused of. It's one of the two different I guess FBI arraignments. They have sent I guess arranged these private games. Billups helped arrange these private games, and everybody at the table except for the guy that's losing a lot of money doesn't know what's going on, because they have rigged machines, the dealing machines, the ones that shuffle the machines, the shufflers. Those are rigged. The tables themselves, when they set out the cards, they have cameras underneath so you can see what's going on there. I was watching this interview with this guy, this professional who helps investigate and track it. He says you can do it now off your phone. You can figure out exactly how it's going to lay it out, and you can also hide the earpiece in your ear so far in your ear you can't see it. You need a magnet to get it. Just the intricate details of how you can cheat in card games is now high tech to the max. And Billups was part of that. Jones was also part of that. Damon Jones, by the way, again, he was also part of that. Plus, he was also on the other side. I don't know if Rozier, I forget which side Rozier was on, which account, but it's also on the other side where he gave out information primarily about LeBron James, whether or not he was going to play a game or if he was going to be limited in some sort of fashion, so that they could go ahead. The people that he was talking to, the bettors he was talking to, could bet on these games accordingly. So yeah, this is some shady stuff, man. This is obviously, you just have to scratch your head why Billups is doing that when he's a coach in the league and trying to stay. At that time, he was trying to keep his job. It wasn't until that they had a turnaround after the course of the turn of the calendar year here, that he did get the extension that he was looking for, and things were starting to look better for him until this happened. Let me just tell you, Joe, Terry Rozier is the most puzzling of all. You know how much he was going to get paid this year, Joe?
26
million is his contract for this season. $26 million. Now, when he was doing all this stuff, as far as what he was involved in, what he's being accused of by the FBI, he made 21, 23, and $24 million. And I'll leave it at that, Joe.
So maybe he spends like a drunken sailor. The money he makes, maybe
Good.
he spends most of it. And that's what happens with a lot of these guys. These guys are horrible with money, most of them. They're not very bright. And they have enablers everywhere. And that includes the owners and the people in charge of the NBA. It's important to really, it's very important to tell people like this who they are. We don't tell people who they are enough because it's a confrontation thing. And then there's a deflection, and then there's projection, and then there's this who are you defensive type stuff. You don't have to be perfect to tell someone else they suck. Okay? All this, who are you to judge me? I go, first of all, there's a difference between someone who steals candy and someone who does first-degree murder. You see the difference? You see where I'm getting with this? Okay? There's a difference. So if you do something this dumb, it's not stealing candy. You're making 26 million or whatever it is that you've made throughout your career, and yet you're playing around with a bunch of dudes who would barbecue you if you owed them $1 because they know what they're doing. Michael Francis, former capo in the Colombo family, very popular on YouTube, has his own show. Amazing stories of his time during the gangster years of his life. He had a video up a few years back that I watched. He said they would I think it was that scumbag Vlad that was interviewing him. I can't stand that guy. I just gave him a pop too. He talked about how there were certain professional ball players, he didn't name them obviously, that some of his guys would call him and say, hey, should I give this guy more credit? He's like, absolutely, get him whatever he wants until it finally reaches that point where we can lure him in, and then we can dictate the real terms. Hey, you owe $1 million, Mr. Quarterback of whatever team. Okay, you want to cover that $1 million? We need you to throw a couple interceptions in week 1 or week 3 or week 5. Nothing out of the ordinary in terms of that world, right? So you have a current coach who, in my view, is that is the spot right there for basketball, because the coach can decide what players to go play. And he coaches in Portland, and all Portland knows how to do in the last month of every year is choke, right? On purpose, so that they can get a better draft pick, right? Because they've been so shitty for so long and their players suck. So what better guy to come get than the head coach of that team? And Chauncey Billups, while I've had my issues with him, open mouth breather type, hate him from 04. Kobe got him back, though, in 09, so I was happy with that. But point is, it's a pretty big name, right? And
Yes.
what did we say? What did we say? It's all on tape. At some point, a big name is going to come out of this. It's not going to just be some John Tay Porter, the brother of Michael Porter Jr., or some third cousin of so-and-so that plays for the Celtics or whatever. No, this is Chauncey Billups. This guy was your finals MVP in 2004. This is a guy that's a borderline Hall of Fame guy. This is a guy that was a head coach in your league. Only 1 out of 30 jobs that this guy has. This is a pretty big one. What are you going to do now, Adam Silver? Oh, and by the way, you're still dealing with that alleged circumventing of the salary cap with the Clippers. What are you gonna do now with that? Oh, but it's okay, Gerald. When the All-Star game comes, everybody's gonna come put up the cancer sign right at halftime. We know somebody with cancer, and then everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, the NBA cares. How nice." What about all the parents that have to pay off their stupid, dumbass kids gambling because of your stupid ass enabling apps and constant cock pill commercials and your pharma junk commercials and your beer commercials and your hard alcohol commercials and soon to be THC drinks? At what point are you going to put me on TV so I can tell you motherfuckers who you are? You're never going to do it. So I got to be on Gerald Glassford's Lakers Fast Break podcast to do it.
Remember when he said he was going to try to be clean?
I want everyone to know that I know the tricks. I have been out of the matrix for a long time. Most of you pieces of shit are full of it. You're two-faced, you're liars, you're junkies, you're bums. And I'm not talking about the players. I'm talking about the assholes in the suits and every level of this thing. You want to come at me with projection, judgment? Bring it. I'll show you where I'm at. I've told you guys this how many times? All you got to do is hang out with me for a couple weeks. Drive with me to work, away from work, getting my hair cut, hanging out with my friends. You'll know who it is. I don't hide anything. I don't do anything. Maybe I'll go 10 miles over the speed limit sometimes. I might roll over on a red light. Hell, I might even go through a red light sometimes because I just get to that yellow right in the middle. Still not a good idea, but I do that. But I'll tell you what I'm not doing. I'm not banging the neighbor's wife. I'm not gambling with a bunch of gangsters and coaching in the NBA. I'm not out stealing stuff. I'm not murdering anybody. No, I mind my business. Try to be a good dad. Try to be a good husband. Try to be a good friend. Try to be a good neighbor. Try to be a good citizen in the area. Not the best. I never will be. I mind my own business. I go about my day. But you assholes, you pieces of shit, you two-faced motherfuckers who sit there and put all that PR bullshit and all these signs and this stuff on the court and flowers and all that horse shit, I know your stink. You don't give two shits about anything other than money and the people who are going to keep feeding you that money so that what you can do what? So you can do what? To do what? So that you can tell us that you're good people? You're fucking trash. High-class trash. This is very easily fixed. It's very easily fixed. We're going to see who has the bigger balls to do it. I don't see it.
Once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is Joe Sorrell. Yeah, he was clean for half an hour along with me, Joe Glassford. Thanks again for watching and listening. Truly appreciate it. I did want to go ahead and say, again, this is regarding the 2 indictments that were handed down by the FBI. Among the 31 defendants are Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups, Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier. It was so funny again how everybody mispronounced his name. Of course, they had no idea who he is. But those 2 were put on leave by the NBA, and then former NBA player Damon Jones, who at the time of the allegations that were made was a unpaid assistant to Darvin Ham in the Los Angeles Lakers at the time. Those are 3 individuals as part of the over 30 individuals named as defendants in these indictments. But I want to go ahead and talk a little bit about the who's and the whys. Jones is charged in the poker-related indictment involving Billups as well. He double-dipped, Joe, as well as the indictment charging Rozier and others with a scheme in which basketball bettors allegedly exploited leaked inside information about players to make profitable wagers. So Billups is on the poker-related side. Rozier, that was already talked about as Kurt Affair put in the chat as far as allegations about faking injuries, things of that nature, how he might have already been involved with it, Rozier. Damon Jones was dirty on both ends, Joe, in this. So he not only has one indictment to deal with, he has another to deal with. And that indictment suggests that Jones leaked information to bettors about the injury status of LeBron James before a February 2023 game and about Lakers player Anthony Davis before a January 2024 game. Rozier allegedly tipped off a longtime friend in 2023 when he was playing for the Charlotte Hornets that he planned to leave a game early for a purported injury so that a friend could make bets against Rozier performing well in that game. Those in-game player bets that you can make during the course of the game. So yes, Rozier and Billups are being placed on immediate leave from their teams, and we will continue to cooperate with the relevant authorities, the NBA said in the statement. We take these allegations with the utmost seriousness, and the integrity of our game remains our top priority. Now, this is not unprecedented, Joe. As you know, I put in the chat, Jonte Porter, Michael Porter Jr.'s brother, was previously charged in a sports gambling scheme. He pleaded guilty to wire fraud and conspiracy, and he has been banned from the NBA. So I think that the worst part about this is that Chauncey Billups was also a recent inductee into the Hall of Fame. So I'm wondering what his status will be on that going forward, if they will rescind that, take that away, put it there, what have you on that one. Nick T, thank you again for the super chat. Truly appreciate it. He says he's wondering about the LeBron 2011 finals now. Okay. But these allegations are recent or within recent years, Joe. So these are not new. I mean, these are not old, long-standing allegations. These are stuff that happened within recent years. So again, the rise of sports gambling, obviously it has meant billions of dollars put into sports, just like, so many other facets of our sports are being inundated. Like for instance, a lot of people are worried about, the Saudi Arabia investment as they are putting more and more money into sports and into the sports world. Some of it, some say are good. Some people don't like it as far as it's concerned. I'll leave that to you guys whether or not you like Saudi Arabia's increasing investment into sports as a whole. But sports betting, as you talked about, Joe, since sports gambling became much more available to consumers and has exploded onto the marketplace, DraftKings themselves reached out to me 3 weeks ago, and they wanted to become a sponsor of the show. Again, it's everywhere that you see it. It's now a part of what we're seeing. In fact, as ESPN, as you guys remarked earlier this morning, I think it was Henry that said it. At the time they were talking about it, right below was the scroll, similar to what I have here, with the betting lines for the NFL games this weekend. that really says it all about the line between the illegal and the legal when it comes to sports betting and their involvement in actual sports is becoming much thinner and much thinner and much more transparent.
There's always been gambling and there always will be gambling. That's not the point. The point is you've accepted it as a partner now. And look what's happened since you've done that. There wasn't allegations like this every 6 months like it has been this last few years. It seems like every 6 months there's some kind of gambling stuff going on with these sports. And the difference between Chauncey Billups and Terry Rozier gambling versus maybe a retired, I'll use Michael Jordan as an example. Michael Jordan was gambling at casinos and playing golf, right? I mean, I guess that could be bad. He had some undesirables while he was playing golf, from what I heard, right? But even Michael got a lot of flack for that back in the day, even though it was Michael
When they
Jordan.
used to go to the Vegas trips.
Right. And it stopped. You didn't hear about that stuff after 93.
Especially when, of course, Phil Jackson tried to find Robin sometimes when you go on those benders.
So you can call it rationalizing, or you can just call it on what exactly happened. And there's speculation about why and what and who, and I'm not going to get into that right now. The acceptance of gambling in sports is becoming there's a calamity that's already started. And it always comes down to greed. And we have accepted greed in this society so much to the point where we're desensitized by it, and we've basically given everybody a free ride because that's exactly how those people who will criticize like I am right now, they will be bought for $4 on a drop of the hat. I was in a lawyer's office, a piece of shit lawyer, by the way, and the piece of shit receptionist in there. I heard siblings wanting to rip their throats out for their parents' money. It was a really, really, really eye-opening, ear-opening scenario sitting in that waiting room. It was a probate lawyer after my father passed away. And that stupid bitch treated me like garbage too, because I went into the office with tears in my eyes because my father had just died. And I told her, any dollar that my father has goes to my sister. And you know what that means, Gerald? You know what that means, Gerald? That means she doesn't make any money with us fighting. She doesn't make any money with us doing shit. Give my sister the fucking money. My father just died. I'm dead. I'm in pain right now. I don't give a fuck about money. But in the other room, it's different. That's when they make their money. That's when the scum-sucking pigs make their money. That's when the scum-sucking siblings, that's who they are. Fighting over their parents' money with their own blood. So if you are asking you guys, if you're asking the question, why is the heat always high over here? And why I enjoy it is because of that. Things like that. Because I want to tell you who you are. I really enjoy telling people who they are because very few people tell them that. And I know who you are. I know who everyone is that are around me. 99% of the time, I know exactly who you are. And I'll be able to find out 95% of the time who you are within the first 60 seconds of you talking. Hell, I'll even know by the way you walk. I'll know who you are by the way you walk. And when you look at all this, All this nonsense, and we're the problem. I'm the problem. I'm watching the games, right? I am the problem. I am at fault at this. It's still going to be there if I stop watching. Maybe that's the rationale in my head. But I'm trying to pay attention to the sport. I'm trying to say to myself, when they're competing in that game, they're playing for the game. The money's sort of, especially when it's high stakes stuff, right? Pardon the pun. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander in the finals. Halliburton busting his Achilles in game 7 in the finals. Those guys weren't thinking about money at that point. They were thinking about winning a championship. And that's the part that I like to watch. That's the part I enjoy. Because at that point, they're not thinking about money. They're thinking, we got to win this. So I'm an enabler too. I'm just not enabling the gambling stuff. I'm not enabling the bullshit virtue signaling. And I'm not enabling the two-faced assholes that these guys are. I'm trying to support the sport. I'm trying to support the competition. That's why I watch sports. I'm not watching it for your stupid message. I'm not watching it for your stupid commercials.
So with that, it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. Again, we'll know more in the coming days in regards to this FBI investigation that has led to the arrests of over 30 individuals. In a statement made by their lawyers, both Rozier and Billups says they'll fight the charges, but as was mentioned by RD23, that the investigation has taken place for quite some time, even through previous administrations. So this is something that they've been obviously, if they came to the conclusion that they're going to arrest not only members of the public in as far as that are NBA basketball players, but also organized crime members and whatnot, they have a lot of evidence in their favor. So we will see how that plays out in the courts. Again, another scandal for the league, Joe, but I did see Adam Silver today watching the Indiana game, which was a double overtime game, 55 points for SGA, and they pull out the victory in Indiana. By the way, Golden State has just won in overtime, 137 to 131, despite 10 of 11 from 3 from Aaron Gordon. I love the stat of the day here that the 10 3-pointers in their first game of the year is the last time that happened was in 2020 with Terry Rozier. So there must have been a bet on threes at that point in time. But be that as it may, Adam Silver, he now has 2 controversies within weeks of each other. Both are really, undermining the league in one form or fashion or the other. I think at some point in time, despite all the things that he has done for the league, both positive during the earlier part of his tenure and more money-centric, more financially centric to the owners and to the league later on, as far as expanding the game, expand the new TV contracts and the like, I think the calls for Adam Silver to be removed as commissioner are just going to get louder and louder. How loud do you think they should become?
For this to be loud in the way we hope it would be the threat. It would have to be a threat to the financial part of the NBA and maybe even his job. But only the owners can do that. And I think the credibility side of things, especially in the NBA, have dwindled. Who's really held accountable that when they screw up in the NBA these days? I think their only harsh suspension is usually when it's narcotics, right? Didn't the Birdman get suspended for like 2 years?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, again, Porter's brother was banned from the NBA,
and Porter's brother.
and Rozier Billups are on leave. placed by the NBA.
Yeah, because now they have to play the alleged bullshit because they don't want to get themselves sued, right?
Well, I mean, in the court of law,
And
you're
and
innocent
Malik
until
Beasley was found not guilty or not liable, right? So
he was cleared of all
was
charges.
cleared of all charges. Okay,
But now he's a free agent on the outside looking in.
Okay, so now what is it? I don't know. These guys in the NBA have let these guys beat up on their women, right? With not much, I guess, punishment.
What did Ray Rice?
Ray Rice, he was one of the few that actually did get blackballed. He never came back. He was the poster child for that. But that's because there was footage of him doing it. It's a shit show, man. It really is. And the only solution is, in my view, is to treat these guys like children. Stupid children. Because if you don't rule with an iron fist with these guys, this is the kind of shit that happens. And there's no other way to put it. I have very little respect for any of these people. I really don't. And it's tough. It's tough to watch. It's been tough to watch the NBA even in the first couple days. We saw the Laker game on Tuesday, and we saw a team that, and this is kind of outside what we're talking about a little bit. We're kind of getting back to just the basketball aspect of this, but I'm just trying to figure out. You have a dipshit coach who's talking about rotations in June with players that signaled a weird response in my head. Like, what? Why are you talking about that in June? You should be worried about making sure the guys that actually do have talent on your team are ready. And you're talking about some fucking numbskull that can't even play? And then you see how they played. You saw their rotations. You saw the motivation. You saw the shot selection, the screens, the rolls, the dives, the trailers. Did these guys even practice during training camp? In the basics of basketball? And this is the part that this is 2025. We can get online 10 minutes after the game, and there's going to be a guy dedicated to showing you film and helping you understand what's going on if you don't understand it. You could see it. It's there. There are people out there that do a very good job explaining things. You go and you want to. I changed the drain out of my washer 7 years ago. I didn't even know I could unscrew the washer before I looked at that video on YouTube. I changed the drain.
I didn't know either. Now I do it every month.
I changed the drain, and I went to a nice family-owned store near my place. Met the coolest dad and son owner ever. I said, I need this. This thing went out on my thing. Oh, we get a lot of requests for those because that one always goes out on that particular model. Don't worry about it. Use this. This will last you 13 years. I'm like, really? Went in there, looked at the video. Sucker's still working. I've had that washer since 2009 when I moved in my house. Shit is still working, man. Just changing that drain. So we have the ability as fans and observers to understand the game, even if we don't. You don't know what a slider sweeper is. You don't know what a changeup is. You don't know what a 4-seam versus a 2-seam. You can literally go online and see it and understand why are they throwing a 4-seam fastball to so-and-so who just hit a home run. You have the ability to see that without knowing what it is and understanding what, where, and why. So let's get to the brass tacks now. What the hell did J.J. Riddick do this summer? Did he coach at all? If you're getting beat by a faster player, if you're getting beat by a player that's just getting to his spots faster than you can get there, or he's just jumping over you like Wembanyama, you have no choice. There's nothing you can do. 78 feet tall versus 7 feet. I mean, there's nothing to do to stop that guy, right? Like, there's a distinct difference between talent destroying you and your shitty fundamentals and your shitty execution playing basketball. What are you doing? What did you do? All you did was talk. And the irony is the same asshole who called and insulted the Jerry Wests of the world with the plumber talk and the watered down talk in the greatest, arguably, decade of sports in general in the 90s.
He called his players stupid because of the Hennessy ad from LeBron.
He called his own players stupid, and he called us stupid. Motherfucker, yep. You're stupid. Your players can't even run a screen and roll. Your players can't even run a screen and roll. And you're talking about Bronny James being in your rotation in June. You're calling us stupid? No, you're stupid. You're stupid. And very, very, very soon, when the new owners come in, they're going to tell you how stupid you are in a nice way. I wouldn't. I'd tell him he was stupid. He should be called stupid anyways. I'd tell him he's stupid right now for insulting Jerry West, God rest his soul, and saying that the 90s were watered down. The same decade that produced half of the 75 all-NBA team, by the way. The majority of those guys on the 75 team played most of their prime in the 90s. Soak on that. How is that watered down? The Charles Barkleys, the Karl Malones, the John Stocktons, the Pippins, the Jordans, the Ewings, the Hakeems. You're telling me those guys are watered down players? And then now you want me to listen to this guy? Remember I told you, Gerald, I told you how many times? You can't take care of your own house. Who the fuck are you to tell me how to take care of my shit? I've had that discussion about politics for years. Wait, you want me to listen to this guy? The guy that banged his best friend's wife? You want me to listen to him? Tell me how to be moral? But see, we don't go nuts the right way. Either you go stupid nuts where you have to go get a flag, put it on your truck, America, yeah! Or you got to have a bunch of fucking jackals on a highway cooking hot dogs, stopping everybody else who's trying to get to work. That's the extremes of the two. I'm in the middle where you belong. I tell you in your face and not fucking other people's shit. That's how I prefer to do it. Because I smell your stink and you're not going to trick me. And you can call me all the names you want. It doesn't matter. I don't give a shit. Positive or negative. Nothing positive or negative is going to change my thinking on how things need to get done. So we're learning a life lesson here a little bit, talking about the sport thing. I think it's a good thing. I try not to come on here and preach. I'm not. I'm just telling you all this is the result of enabling. This is the result of people not talking enough. Where's Rob in this? Where's Jeannie in this? Jeannie's too busy smiling on the sidelines like a fan.
She's getting 12 billion. I would smile too.
I don't give a shit what she's getting. Okay, get this thing done, by the way, too, because I'm tired of seeing her. I really am.
And she still has a percentage of the Lakers.
Just get this goddamn thing transferred already, please, and let some real people run shit. And by the way, you're gonna see in about a week back-to-back championships and the best ownership in sports in the Guggenheims. Results, baby.
RD20. There you go. RD23, who looks like he's become the latest member of the cult of Sorrow. Sorrow is getting more intellectual with each live stream. Sorrow, how do you advance your mental IQ and knowledge? Where does this mindset come from? I'll just go ahead and quietly smirk here in the back.
What? You don't think I'm smart? You don't think I get things?
I am. I'm busting your balls like you try to bust everyone else.
There's a lot of observation. There's a lot of reading, and a lot of it has been instilled from child, from being a kid. My one thing that I think my sister and I got. I only have one sister. It's just my sister and I in terms of the siblings in my family. We were blessed in being taught on how to be observant. And life has to, you have to live life too to really get good at it. You can't just know how it works when you're 18. The base of it is there. The base was set in the house, and then as you started seeing the results of human activity, you started going, oh. I remember this one time I was dying laughing. I'm not going to obviously name any names here, but my sister saw one of my friends' wives, and she loves my boy. Like we're all buddies, right? But she had never met his wife. I can't stand this bitch. Like I couldn't stand her since the day I met her. But he's what am I gonna do? He's my boy's wife. I can't. You know, it is what it is. So she met her for 10 seconds, and then later, my sister came up to me. She said, "Hey, is that so and so's wife?" I go, "Yeah." She's kind of trashy. She had never heard me say anything about her. She didn't have anybody in our circle tell anyone about her. Nothing. She knew in 10 seconds who she was. I'm like, my God, you couldn't have put a better word about her. So the exciting part about things like this isn't that, oh, we're right. Being right is not a good thing in this thing. It doesn't solve the problem. I'm trying to help make everyone understand that when I smell something that stinks, watch out for this. This is what I do. This is what I do in my life. Joe, what do you do for a living? You know what my answer is? I solve problems. I'm a problem solver. That's it. That's all I do all day. Solve problems. Now, I don't let it get to a catastrophic problem. Catastrophic would have to be the trailer got unhitched on a truck, something like that, right? That's normal stuff every now and then. That's not a big deal. You know, you deal with it, you pay for it, whatever. That's why you have insurance. The daily stuff is solving the minimal problems so that my wife, my kids, my friends, my associates, people who work with me don't have to deal with it. Why? Because they have a job. They have things they have to do that make all of our lives better. So the least I can do is master what I'm good at, taking care of problems that my wife doesn't know how to do, my kids definitely don't know how to do, and my friends and my colleagues and my associates, they don't know how to do it. They don't have the temperament. It's just what it is. So I have taken on the responsibility of being the truth guy. It's very hard for people to deal with confrontation. So when you have to tell the truth a lot during the day, it becomes a problem. People don't like to hear the truth. You think they do, they don't. Because more often than not, I'm telling them that they suck without really saying that they suck. It's just, well, what were you thinking when you did this? Because this doesn't make any sense. I mean, I pissed off a guy. I pissed off a neighbor so bad one time. Of my client, a neighbor. My client's neighbor got pissed at me because he kept saying, and this guy was maybe a couple inches taller than me, and he had been drinking, and he kept talking about irrigation lines being a certain way, and I kept having to correct them in a respectful way. I'm like, all that happened here is laziness when it's not within the property line, and it's all like, for example, they'll put sprinklers on the neighbor's side according to I call it the nickel on the curb that gives you the division in the property line. Like when a surveyor comes, that's what they're going to run the string line on if they have to, right? Half the post is yours, the other half is you know what I'm talking about. So I'm telling him because the sprinklers are on his neighbor's side, even though it's his grass. I'm like, this is just laziness. They didn't care about running the string line when they were building the home so that they could put the sprinkler lines on there. He was saying something stupid because he's drunk, whatever. And then he started mouthing off. I'm sitting there like, is this stupid ass really getting into an argument with me about something that I know and he doesn't? This is what I do for a living, dumb fuck. You're drinking beer in a garage. I'm doing landscape construction. I got a truck right there with a license and a number and a seller's permit and a business license. Like, this is what I do, dumbass. So this is the kind of stuff, that's the extreme. I don't run into that problem very often. I don't hardly ever. I'm just saying that's the extreme. But ultimately, this is the job. The job is to make you aware that I know what I'm saying based off of what is here. And more often than not, it's going to be kind of me telling you that you're a fucking idiot without actually telling you you're a fucking idiot. Because that's what people are, just clueless. Parents, teachers, teachers not as much. I think teachers get a bad rep. I think parents are parents are abhorrent. I've seen some things at these kid functions when they're doing the little sing-along with the first, second, third, fifth grade thing. I've seen some parents at those places, man, I wanted to kick them outside, like literally go and kick a field goal with them at how they were treating their children, like garbage. And they're going to wonder, oh, she's really mean. I'm like, yeah, of course she's fucking mean. When she was 7, she was asking about a rock on the ground. You yelled at her for it. The kid's curious. Be a mom. Say it nicely. Teach her something, make her love you or something. I don't know what the fuck you're doing. Like, what the fuck were you thinking having kids if you're going to have that kind of attitude? That's the shit that that's how my brain operates throughout the day. That's the stuff I look at. So pardon my empathy-less thoughts on things sometimes. Boy, we really skewed away from the subject here. Sorry, guys. That's the rant outside sports for the day, for the night.
And once again, it is the Lakers Fast Break. It is a snack pack for you. But before we head on out, we're going to go ahead and preview tomorrow night's game. The Lakers and Minnesota Timberwolves. Minnesota Timberwolves did win in Portland on what will most likely be Chauncey Billups' last game involved in the NBA. I'm going to say the odds are not in his favor, and I'll just leave it at that, Joe. So with that, I want to go ahead and talk about tomorrow night's game. We talked about, I did 2.5 hours. By the way, Joe let me know he couldn't make it last night. So
I was in La La Land last night.
I wanted it to be nice. I didn't want to say it right now.
No. I don't even remember. All I remember from last night is sleep is past nothing. I woke up this morning just like I was so tired last night, and I don't even know why. It wasn't like I slept like 5 hours the night before or whatever. I don't know. Maybe I got real comfortable and I just was like, dude, I'm out. But it was a good sleep though, man. I slept like 8 straight hours and didn't wake up once. The circadian rhythm, man, that thing is legit, man. When you sleep at 10 versus midnight, it's a completely different sleep in the morning.
I hear you.
Thanks, stuff. Yeah, I know. I get a little I can go off the rails a little bit, but it comes from a place of concern. I've never tried mushrooms. I wouldn't even know how that would come about, although I've heard some good things about peyote.
So with the Minnesota Timberwolves, they are coming in there. A little bit of a revamped starting lineup, but DiVincenzo is in. Mike Conley, I think, is now now understanding what life as a 39-year-old point guard is going to be because he's now coming off the bench. Interesting, though, they didn't play Rob Dillingham. They only played one of their two young guards, Terrence Shannon Jr., also coming off the bench. Very interesting how that worked out because a lot is riding on Dillingham to be a part of their future going forward. So with that said, Minnesota and the Lakers, obviously emanating from their playoffs run this past summer, didn't quite work out the way that the Lakers wanted to, but with hopefully some practice time. And by the way, to give everybody an injury update, I know that people were talking about the groin injury, possible groin injury. Luka shrugged it off, said he's going to be fine. He was a participant in practice. Austin Reeves has a slight ankle injury as well. He was a participant in most of practice as well. But the thing is, Joe, with Luka Doncic, it's not the 43 and the almost triple double that he had. It's the 41 minutes that starts off. It really is a problem, and it shines the light on the lack of depth of this team, how it wasn't addressed enough. I shared my concerns all summer long. I shared my concerns into this season. I shared my concerns on the prediction show. It is something where it is apparent now there's a lot of issues, and whether JJ is, in your mind, a good coach or a bad coach, with the lack of depth on this team, it's a lot of problems he may not be able to solve.
I'm not concerned with Luka playing 41 minutes. He's 26. He could play 41 minutes a game for the next 5 years at this point in his career. Might as well, right? It's been Austin had a good game too, statistically, obviously. But what else is Luka going to play for? I mean, he has to know that this is going to be a transitional year. So might as well go play 40, 41 minutes and maybe get maybe get the first 30-point triple-double average for an NBA player. I'm just saying.
What does that say, though, Joe? That he has to go.
It says we have. Here's what it says. It says that this team needs this transition to happen with Mark Walter, like soon, and LeBron James needs to finish out this contract so that they can start building the team with Luka Doncic without the distraction. It's just what this is going to be. And JJ Redick will not be the coach of the future. He doesn't know how to coach. And you've kind of seen that the last few months.
805. Did you see how AD got abused by Victor yesterday? I mean, that was merciless. I'll put it to you this way, 805. Victor looked on AD the way that AD at that similar age looked at other players. It just was that dominant, and AD had no answer for Victor Wembanyama. I don't know how many people will actually have answer for Victor Wembanyama because he absolutely looked like a superstar last night But moving forward, but I know that you said LeBron for AD to Dallas. I really don't think that's going to work out either. I think, again, when it comes right down to it, this team should have done more in the offseason, and it's probably going to regret it going forward because Golden State pulled out the victory. They're 2-0 on the young season over now Denver and the Lakers. OKC is also at 2-0 with 2 double overtime victories to their credit. So at least it looks a little bit tougher for them now without Williams in the interim until he gets back. So we'll see how competitive they are or how dominant or lack thereof going forward. But the Western Conference is going to be tough, Joe, and you need a fortified roster in order to compete at that level. And throwing Gabe Vincent out there in the starting lineup was just an absolutely dumbass move. Again, the statistics bore it out that Butler feasted on Gabe Vincent statistically more than anyone else in the offense for Golden State on the Lakers defense. And he just doesn't do enough for you on the floor on the offensive end to cut it. All that good shooting he had in the summer wasn't there on Tuesday night. So I don't know at this point, Joe. You maybe maybe you break in case of emergency, break glass and bring in Marcus Smart, who had I guess a credible game in his first real game back, since the 54 games he played over 2 seasons. So we'll see what happens. But the Lakers just don't have many options.
No, they don't. And if guys like DeAndre Ayton aren't gonna fill in what they really need there, then that's gonna add more stress to that. And Marcus Smart try to at least put some kind of life in the team in that third quarter. And it guys, if it hadn't happened over and over again before, it would have been okay. Well, they screwed up in the third quarter. They came out lackadaisical, whatever. How many times have we seen this team, whether JJ's there, whether Riddick is there? I'm sorry, whether JJ Riddick is there, whether it's Darvin Ham. How many times are they going to shit the bed in the third quarter? And the reason why they keep shitting the bed is because a half-wit, at the very least, head coach of the opposition is figuring something out in the first half and saying, here's an adjustment. This is where they're going to suck. Take advantage of it in the third quarter. And then by the time you get to the fourth quarter, you finally figure out what they just did to you after 12 minutes, and you try to reconcile in some way, but it's too late. I mean, it's the same script. And the reason why it's the same script is because the coaching and the identity is still lacking. What did we say before game one? Run these guys down. You have youth without LeBron there. You have a lot of youth. And even your marginal players like a Jackson Hayes or a Gabe Vincent, they're going to do better in an environment where they're running and gunning and not have to worry about thinking too much or having to be stuck guarding Jimmy Butler, who's 3-4 inches taller than him. It's someone who had been playing with him for years in Miami, who knows how to play against him. I mean, is it that hard to do that? Use the advantage of Luka Doncic in the half court, but try to think about how you're going to sustain a LeBron-less Laker team when a team's already lacking depth and take advantage of the youth you have. Run. Why didn't they run? Steph is old. Jimmy Butler's old. Why didn't you take advantage of it? Draymond is old. I'm not asking you to go run and gun with Oklahoma City. I mean, I guess you could, but they'll be able to keep up. But this is the Golden State Warriors, man. You gave them the game. You allowed them to rest. playing half-court basketball.
You fouled so many times, and you sent them Curry and especially Butler 24-24 at the free throw line. That's how you slow a game down, Joe. That's how you go ahead and avoid having too many fast breaks.
And that's, I know, Johnny. That's why I said drain. But you have 5 guys on the court. A couple of them are going to be young, like Pods, Kuminga. But the other 3, you're running those 3 down. Those are the guys that hurt you, by the way. Draymond hurts you. Steph hurts you. Jimmy Butler hurts you. Make those guys work. They'll maybe bust a tire. You know how Jimmy is. He quits 20 games out of the year anyways. No identity. There's no identity on this team. And there hasn't been one in a while. Other than LeBron's team, which has garnered us 2 playoff wins in the last 3 series. 3. With or without Luka. With or without JJ Redick. So at some point, you need to find the root of the problem and get rid of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's difficult to argue against that when we've watched every single stupid-ass game the last decade. What else are you going to tell me?
Well, Gregory, they don't have a myriad of assets. The Lakers only have currently one first round pick. I think they have 1 second round pick at the most because they give it up a lot. And again, it's just the talent evaluation. Again, Adieu Thiero, good example. The guy is still out. He listed on the injury report, still recovering from knee surgery that he had over the summer. And this is a guy that you traded twice to move up to in the second round to get. And you see what you have there right now. He has not played at all since joining the Lakers. Again, Jared Vanderbilt, you signed him to an extension and immediately had foot issues and had double foot surgery thereafter. It's just not reading things properly. I mean, if they just had moved up a little bit more, they could have gotten themselves a possibly a pretty good center in Ryan Kalkbrenner, who started for the Charlotte Hornets last night and got a double-double. If they had just let Bronny go undrafted in last year's draft and drafted Ariel Hukporti, who started for the Knicks last night. Now, mind you, again, those guys are just young guys. They're not really huge parts of the rotation yet, but they are playing minutes, whereas you're still sitting Bronny down because you know he can't give you what you need. It's just evaluations by this organization, Joe, which absolutely just irritate me to no end because you can't see the issues with this team. But the problem is JJ, and to a larger extent, Rob, often in the time that we've been dealing with them as far as the Lakers, both of them, have not been able to often see the forest from the trees.
Yeah, it's a constant. It's Groundhog's Day with this discussion, and it's going to continue until the end of this year. And as far as getting the right coach, that's a good question. I need to do some research. I need to do some research on what the NBA's next revolution of coaches is going to need to be. I don't know who it's going to be. Who's going to be the next Mike D'Antoni to Steve Nash? That would be something that Luka would flourish in. Imagine Luka playing on those Phoenix Suns teams in the mid-2000s with D'Antoni. I'm almost positive, and this is no slight on Steve Nash. I love Steve Nash, but they win a couple championships with Luka on that one. Luka's better than Steve Nash in my view.
And Luka's not playing defense. He's not going to play defense.
And Nash didn't play defense.
He means so much. He means so much to the offense right now. It's clear when you watched him during the game that he is not giving that kind of effort on the defensive end. Did get a block shot, but for the most part, he's not giving that kind of effort on the defensive end. I get it. I understand it, guys. And I know 805 is pointing that out in the chat. And it is correct. But if Rob had done a better job of building this team instead of this 2 timeline deal that he was obviously focusing on, that, and I'm going to give credit again to the statement made by Rich Paul that they correctly pointed out when LeBron put in his $53 million, said he was going to opt into it. Again, if you really want this team to win, you would have opted out and thought, worked out something better with the organization so you could get in players. But still, with what Rob could have dealt with in the summer, didn't want to do that. He wants to see right now what he can get going forward in the summers of 26 and 27. And in the meantime, Joe, that probably means a gap year, as they like to say it, or a year that we have to suffer through of mediocrity for the Los Angeles Lakers. After one game, already people are talking about that very thing.
Nick, if you had given Doncic, Sean Marion, Boris Diaw, Stoudemire, those guys, the Brazilian, what do they call, what's his name? I always forgot his name, the Brazilian guy.
Scola?
Barbosa?
Oh, Leandro Barbosa. Yes.
You give Luka that team in the 2000s with Nash. Trust me, Luka would have flourished.
Nick T is in the chat. He disagrees with you on that.
Yeah, I know, but that offense would have been tailor made for Luka.
Yes, ISO Joe Johnson. I remember him well.
And yeah, the Joe Johnson thing. It's sad because the 05 team was actually the best Phoenix team, even though the 6 and 7 team get a lot of the pub. 05, they had Joe Johnson. If he had just stayed a little longer, I think they would have had a chance to win in 06 and 07. But he wanted his money and went to Atlanta like an idiot. There's no doubt that Luka would have flourished in that, and I believe they would have won a championship with him. But we'll never know.
So with that, though, it is the Lakers.
And with that, again, is Luka is a phenom. Luka would flourish in a fast break offense. Imagine him pulling up on a fast break, hitting a 3. Imagine. Consistently. Those shots on a fast break are energy-sucking plays for the opposition.
He's listed as an assistant coach, by the way, not a trainer, Johnny. He's listed as assistant coach for the Sacramento Kings. That'd be kind of weird if he was a trainer. If he went from a player to a trainer. He'd have to go back to school, get a degree, or if he was working on it during his time at the school.
Luka can do both, guys. I don't know why you guys don't think that Luka could run and gun. That doesn't make any sense.
All right. Gregory says, I'm telling you all, Rob is not going to do anything for Luka. They've got Luka's just there to sell jerseys until Walter comes and clean house. Lakers are not going to be anything this year. Well, again, game 1, and already there are a lot of individuals like Gregory out there that are thinking that same way. So we'll have to wait and see. But
the writing's been on the wall for a while now. This was just a formality. Plus, we did, and that was before we knew LeBron was going to be out too.
Again, Nick T swears that he holds the ball too long and is too slow, Joe.
Who?
For D'Antoni's offense. Nick T.
No.
Okay. Again, you guys can agree to disagree on that one. But it is, of course, the Lakers fast break. I will just say this. We'll be back tomorrow, win or lose. Of course, first off, the Dodgers and the Blue Jays start off the World Series. That'll be on Joe Soro's channel, the Joe Soro Experiment on playback. Go ahead and catch the game there. And then you can come over to Lakers Fast Break on playback. I will try to have it on a simulcast. I didn't get any copyright notices yet for the first one, so I was thankful for that. So we'll see what happens here on Friday. And then, of course, after the Lakers game, Joe hopefully be here. John should be back in the saddle with us over here.
Baseball, baseball will take precedent for at least another week. I'll be doing the dual watch because I think the game will probably be in the 5th or 6th inning when the Laker game starts. So I'll be able to maybe screenshot it here and there, but there's a chance I might not. I'm ready to see that's the Dodgers. Then, in my view, this is my view, this is the start of the dynasty.
I was just sad to hear about Vesia. I'm
worried about Vesia. Yeah, I'm worried about Vesia because the way the words were said, I'm deathly scared that something happened to the kid. His wife was pregnant, almost ready to burst, and I'm just scared that something happened to the kid. There's no word out of there yet. I'm just hoping it's not permanent, but it didn't sound good with some of the words that they were saying.
Yeah. So our thoughts are with Vesia. Hopefully everything will be okay as far as the family-related issue, which will not allow him to be on the team at this time. We're hoping he can come back, but again, our thoughts are with him and what's going on, that he can take care of everything he needs to take care of with his family right now. So, just looking out. It's going to be a busy day tomorrow, everyone. Sports world. We've got the NBA. You've got, of course, remember the game is on Amazon Prime if you're not going to watch with us on playback. So just remember, if you've got Amazon Prime, there you go. But interesting to see how the coverage will be. Looking forward to watching that game. And then, of course, also turning back and forth between the Dodgers as well. Johnny says, who is the true blue? Blue Jays versus Dodgers blue? Well, Dodgers right now for us. And we'll leave
the true blue is the Dodgers. The Blue Jays.
Throwing a rookie out there takes some chutzpah, though. Throwing a rookie out there against Blake Snell takes some chutzpah.
There's no choice. They have to. They're hedging. They're hedging their pitching lineup based off of likely them losing game 1, so they can put their number 1 guy in game 2.
Okay.
It's interesting. I was looking at some history. There's only been one, and that's because the series MVPs have. There was a time where you won the pennant, and then you went to the World Series, and then there was a time where it was just the league championship series before you went to the World Series. So I had known anyone, and it wasn't known, it wasn't broadcasted enough, who has won the MVP, league MVP, and league MVP, league series MVP, and World Series MVP in the same year. I thought that no one had ever done it. I was wrong. Coincidentally, it was actually Willie Stargell in 1979, Pittsburgh Pirates. Last time the Pittsburgh Pirates won a World Series. Won league MVP, league series MVP, and then won the World Series MVP. And and the funny thing is, Willie Stargell's 505-foot home run at Dodger Stadium was being publicized because of Ohtani's 469-foot home run a few days ago. So I thought there was an interesting correlation, because now, at this moment, Ohtani is going to win league MVP. It's already pretty much done. He just won NLCS MVP. Will he make it? Will he be the second player in Major League Baseball history to win all 3 MVPs in the same year?
We'll see what happens, my friend. But Friday is a big day, so follow it with us on playback, playback.tv/the The Joe
Johnny, are
Solars
you
from
just trying to
Dodgers.
just say the opposite things here? The 2002 Kings were not overrated. They were very good.
Aren't they cited as one of the best non finals making teams? Them, the Portland Trailblazers at that time that the Lakers matched up against.
There
Those
was
early
no
2000s.
one overrated in that run. They were all really damn good. Spurs, Portland, Kings.
So before we head on out, my friend JY, are you doing a show afterwards?
No,
by
I
the
am
way?
not. No, I am not. I think I got everything I needed to get out now on the
All
show.
right, fair enough.
The
I did put an article on Shohei Ohtani. I think you should read it. It won't make you very happy, but I think you should read it. I put it in the WhatsApp chat. Just want to give you a heads up. But JY says, "Hey Joe, give
what
us
do you
your
mean won't make me
MVP
happy? What the hell?
candidates."
What did you send me?
I put it in the WhatsApp chat. It's a article written by someone who said that I'll read you the catch grabbing quote, the title of the article, that Otani is what he said. It's the greatest player, but he's terrible for for Major League Baseball. Is basically what to paraphrase.
Okay, so explain something. Okay, explain something to me. How often have we seen the best baseball player being shown on the biggest stage in a consistent time? It happens in football. It happens in basketball. It happens in hockey. When does it happen in baseball? Think about this for a second. I'm only going to talk about
years in Anaheim.
I'm going to talk about it only in the last 35 years because I don't want to go too far back. Think about it for a second. Who was the best player in the 90s? Let's say the best two players that come to mind. Ken Griffey, Barry Bonds, right?
You wouldn't put Mike Trout in there?
I'm talking about the 90s.
Oh, but I'm talking about the past.
Focus
30 years.
on what I'm saying right now. The 90s. The two best players in the 90s. Bonds, Griffey. Fair? Who else?
Yeah, I put them above Sosa or McGuire. I would put them above Sosa.
Yeah, obviously. So, how often from 1990 to 1999 did you see those guys in the World Series?
You didn't see Barry Bonds.
Zero.
Until the 2002.
Zero.
Against
in the 2000s.
Yeah.
In the 2000s. Who was the best player in the 2000s?
That's a good question.
You could say the first half was Barry. He went to 1
with the Angels
in 2002
against the Angels.
And that was his only real good run, by the way. Before then, in the 90s, when he was at the Pirates and a few years with the Giants, he was very pedestrian in the playoffs. Because in baseball, you can neutralize the best player by walking him or by pitching him in a certain way where you're never going to let him beat you. That's something that I think Seattle needed to realize before they pitched to George Springer. So anyways, 2000, the first half was Bonds. Who was the second half? Manny Ramirez, maybe? A little bit?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Where do you put Pujols in this conversation?
Pujols. There you go. You just got it. So Pujols went to the World Series in 2006. Played in 2004 as well. They got swept. So you had Pujols and you had Barry Bonds in the 2000s. Both one went to a World Series in 2002. Pujols went to the World Series in 2004 and 2006. That's it. 2010s, Mike Trout. One playoff appearance, not even one win. Got bounced 2003. Who else could you say was the best player of that era? Besides Mike Trout. So, fast forward.
Bryce Harper maybe on the tail end?
Okay, Bryce Harper. How many World Series did he go to in the 2010s?
None, because he didn't
Zero
make it until the 2020s. Yeah.
He came in 15, didn't he? So
Yeah.
So Ohtani is going to be in the World Series. This is his second season as a Dodger, and he's been in the World Series both seasons. It's
Would you
very
put Kershaw
likely.
or Cabrera?
I don't factor in pitchers. Pitchers are only there every 5.
Cabrera.
Cabrera is a good one. He went to 2. He went to 2 World Series, but is Cabrera transcendent? Was Mike Trout transcendent? Barry was transcendent. Griffey was transcendent. Was Pujols transcendent? I know people that don't.
A-Rod.
A-Rod, he went to the World Series in 09. That was it. And he's a douchebag. People didn't really have a lot of respect for him. The thing is, you also have to factor this in. As much and as great as Albert Pujols was, I can talk to 10 neighbors in my court. No, and 9 of them probably won't know who he is. People knew who Barry Bonds was. People knew who Ken Griffey was. People definitely know who Shohei Ohtani is. No one really knows who Miguel Cabrera was. I could talk to 10 of my neighbors here. None of them would know him. Bryce Harper, same situation. Mike Trout, maybe 1 out of 10. Again, who is transcendent in baseball and at the highest level in terms of notoriety and showing who you are? Yeah. How is that bad for baseball when you put your best player, the most transcendent player, in the biggest stage? This is sore loser. This is the same thing I keep telling you guys all through the show. These are the type of people that are the jizz stains of society. The dried up one. They don't look at greatness and embrace it. They are jealous. They're stupid. And they're trying to get attention. Try to be heels in wrestling, basically. When you're not good at... When Rocky Maivia came out with his tassels, didn't work. Turned into a bad guy because that's who The Rock is at his core.
Wasn't until Rocky die, and everything took off from there.
There you go.
I think that's when his whole life... I'm talking about all the acting... I don't think... If we go back in time, and he stayed the baby face, that probably would have been let go at some point in time by WWF at that point in time. If it had just continued on its current, course, I don't think he ever would have achieved the things in life if he did not turn heel and have that awesome, self-confident, boosting, Rocky Die promo that he made. That, I think, really put himself on the map. And I think, people don't credit that very much as far as how his success later in life, but I really pointed to that one moment in his life, and everything changed because he became more comfortable out there in the professional wrestling world. He became more comfortable on camera. He wasn't forcing a lot of it as much as in the past. He began enjoying what he was doing a lot more, and it was oozing through the screen as far as his charisma from that point on. Just my 2 cents.
Well, Freddie going back to back. The Freddie story is going to be very interesting because Freddie is such a loyal, amazing human being. And the fact that baseball, I heard, chooses. I still don't know if that's 100%. I guess it is. Baseball, when they elect you, choose what hat you wear in the Cooperstown. Did you know that, Gerald?
Yep.
I still can't fathom. I can't understand that. How is that their choice? So let's just say it is. Let's say it's 100%, right? Freddie has, what is it? 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. He signed a 6-year contract. So 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27. So at the end of the 2027 season, which is weird because we don't know if there's going to be a lockout after 2026, but let's just say there isn't going to be a lockout. Let's say he plays out his contract and everything's fine. There's a big chance that the Dodgers may have a chance at 3-peating or 4-peating if they win this season. Let's just throw this out here. Make it easy. If the Dodgers win this year and then 3-peat next year, how the hell is he not going to go in as a Dodger? He's going to be a part of the equivalent of the Yankees dynasty. There's no dynasty that's ever done in baseball what the Yankees have done. But the Dodgers have that chance in the next 8 seasons beyond this. And this would be the start. Now, the Oakland A's three-peated in the 70s. But they're not the Yankees and they're not the Dodgers in a lot of ways. Very, very formidable franchise, though. We talked about that a little bit with them moving to Vegas, right? But the Cardinals, I don't think have ever won even. I don't think they've won back-to-back championships. Maybe they have. I have to look.
They may have. I don't remember it though. To be honest with
you, but they do have 11. They do have 11, and the Dodgers, should they win this year, will creep up to 9, and I believe they will be tied with the Red Sox for 3rd with all-time titles. They'll pass the New York/San Francisco Giants if they win this year. They're both tied at 8. They'll tie the Red Sox at 9. The St. Louis has 11. So they'll be on that path of possibly during the Ohtani era, probably getting past 11 and probably getting 12. So to put a button on this, the next 2 to 3 seasons is going to possibly put the Dodgers in an area where only the Yankees have been in their history. And it's not going to stop either, because you still have another 5 years with Ohtani. So Ohtani wins 4 out of 5 championships in his first 5 years. And then let's say he wins a couple more in the final 5 years. What's that, 6, let's say? Let's say he ends up winning 6 championships in those 10 years with the Dodgers. Pretty good.
Yeah.
That means they're sitting at 13 titles. You tell me that's not good for baseball to have the best player in the league, best player arguably ever on the biggest stage every year? You don't want to promote your sport? That's the greatest promotion you can make. You want the villain now, right? The Dodgers become the villain. That's what happened with the Patriots, right? When they would go to the Super Bowl, they were the villains. People wanted to cheer against them. You wanted to cheer against Floyd Mayweather because losers talk about winners while winners are winning. Losers complain about others winning too much because they're losers. They don't want to see greatness. They make excuses for why they're losers. Because if you're going to keep talking about paying money, let me give you a little bit of history lesson here. I'll start from the top. The Dodgers offered Shohei Ohtani 10 years, $700 million. You know what Shohei did right after that? He went right back to Anaheim, showed Artie Moreno what the Dodgers offered. He said, "Can you match it?" Artie said no. Freddie Freeman just won World Series MVP in Atlanta. Contract ran out. He wanted to stay in Atlanta. And then they went after Olsen in Oakland. He wanted to stay in Atlanta. Didn't want to sign him. So the Dodgers signed him. Mookie Betts was just hitting his prime. Already an MVP. Freak of nature athlete. He's kind of like our modern day, I would say, if I had to compare him to guys of the past, I mean, you could say he's our modern day Ken Griffey. That's our modern day, this era's Ken Griffey Jr. Boston didn't want to sign him. They wanted to get rid of David Price's contract, traded Mookie Betts for 4 sticks of gum and a sample size of crazy glue. Shall I go on?
No.
Anyone could have signed Teo. Teo was waiting.
Uh-huh.
No one wanted to sign Max Muncy. They DFA'd the Oakland A's. DFA'd Muncy. Seattle didn't want to sign Chris Taylor. No one wanted Kike. Kike was in Houston. He was in Miami, Florida, whatever the hell they were. Miami. So what is it exactly? How about Blake Snell? Let's talk about Blake Snell. Arguably the best pitcher in the majors in the last 7 years. Arguably. Definitely the best left-handed pitcher, in my view. Sorry, Freed. I'm picking Snell over you. Tampa Bay didn't sign him. Went to San Diego, won a damn Cy Young. They didn't sign him. Went to San Francisco for 1 year. They didn't want to sign him. So what are you bitching about? All these teams could have signed him. All these teams could have signed these guys, but they didn't. So now you're going to punish the Dodgers for signing these guys when no one else wanted them. Tanner Scott had a bad year. It happens to relief pitchers, by the way. That's a norm. Don't be surprised if he comes back next year and kills it. It happens all the time. It's happened ever since I've been watching baseball. One bad year, all of a sudden back for good for a couple of years. Always happens. Just how it goes with baseball, especially with relief pitchers. He had more money, had a bigger offer, decided to come to L.A. Same thing happened with Teo, too, by the way. Tampa didn't want Glass now. They traded him. If you want to get mad about Yamamoto, okay, I'll give you that one. I'll give you that one. $325 million is a lot of money. But all the other names I told you about, every one of those guys had teams or a team that said, we don't want you. So fuck you. The Dodgers said, we'll take you. No one else wants you. We'll take you. And now you're going to blame them for that? Go blame Tampa. Go blame Anaheim. Go blame San Francisco. Go blame San Diego. Assholes. Losers. Suck on it. Suck on this. Suck on it all day long because the Dodgers are going to go back to back and they're going to win a hell of a lot more World Series in the next 8 years. Get ready. Lockout or no lockout. At some point, the lockout's going to end and they're going to be back and playing baseball, whether it takes a year, whether it takes a half year, whatever. Doesn't matter. The Dodgers are the next dynasty. The dynasty will be birthed in about a week. I'm not calling it a full-fledged dynasty yet, but it's the birth of this dynasty that's coming up.
And with that, it is the Lakers Fast Break. Go ahead and join Joe.
So preachy today, man. I sounded preachy, don't I?
The Temple of Sorrow. I could just all your followers going in with the hooded. It's going to be like the
I don't want that. I don't want to be preachy. I don't want to influence.
I'm in the results business.
I only want to influence your own thoughts. Do not think or execute stuff like me. I want you to think on your own and just understand when shit's stupid, just make it known. That's all I'm saying.
Well, RD23 is already taking notes.
RD23 is blood. That's why. That's different. When it's blood, it's blood. Blood's going to always support you most of the time.
I just thought that'd be kind of cool. You know, you have your whole legion of followers. They're the monks. You know, their outfits.
No. I didn't. That's not. I would never accept that. I am not a preacher. I am not a demagogue. I am not any of those things. I am just saying, when you smell something that stinks, make it known. And I'm here to give you the information that you probably are not going to have. I'm giving you information to now take with you, and you deliver it the way you should, because that's information I do know. That maybe you don't. The point of this show is to tell you things that you probably don't know, and to obviously put some entertainment around it. That's it. I don't want anyone to follow me. I don't want anyone to worship me. None of that shit. That is not what I want. I want none of that. And I know it's if we become a bigger show and more people and all that, I know that that's going to be part of the gig, which is fine. But I'd rather you not. I want you all to think on your own and know the answers, because that's what we do here. We actually do research, and we do remember, and we've been around it a lot. And that's the point. The point is, you're going to have the knowledge that you need to have a good conversation about sports, should you have it, especially the Dodger thing. It's so obvious that this was going to happen as soon as they started winning. All those years you're talking about how we choked and all this stuff, and the fact that we got cheated out of 2 World Series by 2 cheating pieces of shit. And I was willing to let the Red Sox a little bit off the hook on that, because they sent us Mookie Betts for practically dirt, and he's already won us 2 championships and is gonna win a third. I'd be like, all right, but the Houston Astros, those pieces of shit, we're gonna have to take it out on Toronto, unfortunately, and that George piece of shit Springer. And so that at least the consolation, I guess, I'll take it.
There you go. So no monks. No monks.
No,
right?
No. I have a script in my head of Jim Jones. You guys remember who Jim Jones was, right?
Oh no, here we go. Don't drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, that guy. I have a script in my head of, it's kind of Tarantino-ish in terms of the fantasy revenge thing, right? That when he had his announcement where he was trying to make everybody, what was it, arsenic or whatever cyanide that he made his followers take while he was yapping.
Yeah.
I always had this fantasy of him preaching on the stage and me walking in the background and him notice that I'm there for him. Yeah, I got a real weird thing in my head here, things that I think of, because those people are the ones that destroy lives. They're the ones that destroy children and women and all those things. And I guess my fantasy is to be the hero to save those, to save people. That's kind of maybe sometimes that's what sneaks in.
All right, and on that note, no monks, guys. Sorry, the Temple of Sorrow was not open for business just yet. So it is, of course, the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us.
Let me finish this up. Anthony, here's another thing to remember here, okay? I want you to pay attention. After the Yankees lost the World Series in 2001, George went nuts. He started signing the Giambis, the Musinas, every single big name free agent that you can get. He was trying to sign them. You know how many World Series they won after that? Until 2009. And that was the Matsui series. Matsui went ape shit. If Matsui doesn't go ape shit in 2009, not Jeter, not A-Rod, not CC Sabathia, and I'm not saying they played bad. I'm just saying, if Hideki Matsui didn't turn into Babe Ruth in the 2009 World Series, they probably lose that World Series to the Phillies. So all that extra spending for the Musinas, for the Giambis, after that 0-1 loss, didn't produce dick. They won those World Series when they had the right complement of players, much like how the Dodgers have. You think that it's all just Mookie, Freddie, and Ohtani. You tell me if the Dodgers beat the Phillies if it's not for Muncy on a couple of those defensive plays. Or how about Kike leading the innings with a double or a single? How about Teo? Teo, Muncy, Kike, Edmund. They all had a part. Perfect complement of players. Those aren't the max players. Matter of fact, other than Ohtani going off in this last game, you could say that Mookie, Freeman, and Ohtani were average. They were hitting average. And a lot of that was because you had phenomenal pitching, especially left-handed pitchers in the Philly series. And the Brewers had good pitchers being able to handle a little bit of what they needed to do in that series. So
with that,
to put a button on that, if you're going to keep yapping about spending, remember this. When the Yankees were winning those World Series in 96, 98, 99, and 2000, that team, the team that won 4 championships in 5 years, it was the Tino Martinez's, it was the Scott Brosius's, the Jim Leyritz. It was the complementary players that put the right glue together with the Jeters, with the Bernie Williams, with the Posadas. Wasn't just stars signing in the late 90s. Those were guys that were not stars, that were perfect complements to that team. And the Dodgers have the same exact setup. So take it however you want. But I'm going to tell you right now, you got a problem with the Dodgers winning championships, you can eat shit all day long.
And on that note, again, you can join Joe and the crew watching the Dodgers game first at playback.tv/the Joe Soro. It says experiment. It's actually meant to be experiment, but it's the Joe Soro experiment. Go ahead and watch the game there, then flip over to the Lakers Fast Break channel on playback. Or to hear just our chat, I will try to have it simulcasted on the YouTube channel. And then, of course, speaking of the YouTube channel, after the game, we'll be here for our world-famous post-game show coming right at you here for the Lakers Fast Break. One more time, I will go ahead and actually, I'll probably do a little bit more because I think this book definitely deserves it. I know Joe hopefully will be able to read this as well. It is a Hollywood ending, the dreams and drama of the LeBron Lakers by Yaron Weitzman. I have an interview with him that's now on the channel. Go ahead and check it out. And last but certainly not least, good friend Drip Show. Look at this. Look at this quality. If you want something like this in your life, or something really good as far as well-made, an idea, concept that you didn't think would be possible, you didn't think that anybody out there could do it, go ahead, follow at Drip Show Shop on Instagram and Twitter, and he may just be able to make it happen for you this holiday season. So go ahead and do that, my friends. If you support these individuals that helped us, that would be immensely grateful to you as well. And we're almost at 2,500 subscribers. So absolutely a good thing indeed. Joe, any last thoughts before we head on out?
I think I've said enough tonight.
Yes, the Gregorian monks say the same thing as well. All right, and on that note, this is the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you joining us. We'll be back tomorrow for more fun and merriment. Go Dodgers! Go Lakers! We're rooting for you. We'll see what happens tomorrow right here on the Lakers Fast Break podcast.
So if the Dodgers win in a sweep, it'll be 13-1. It'll be the highest percentage win total in Major League Baseball history.
Go Dodgers, go.